Houston Astros have a definite winning mindset this season, thanks to outstanding starting pitching. Backed up by the Regulators bullpen, there has been plenty for Astros fans to love. Tonight they look to sweep the Chicago Cubs next on Fox Sports Houston. Live from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Fox Sports Houston brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight is the finale of the homestand. The Astros go for a sweep of this three-game series from the Chicago Cubs. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Jim Deshaies. The Astros 5-2 on this homestand. They're still only 4 games out of first place, and it's getting a little more exciting around here, JD.
The Astros playing winning baseball, having a great homestand, and they're facing a club in the Chicago Cubs that have dropped 8 in a row. Good pitching matchup for you tonight. Left-hander Wandy Rodriguez for the Astros making his 20th career start against the Cubs. He's 3-4 this year. His 2.24 ERA, good for 9th best in the league. Jeff Samardzija, 4-2, converted from the bullpen to the starter, having a very nice year. One of the hardest throwers in all of baseball. He's got an ERA right at 3.
Coming up from Minute Maid Park as the Astros say their farewell for this homestand. The Regulators are ready to provide backup for Wandy Rodriguez. He could become the second winningest left-hander in Houston history with a win tonight if he needs their help. They're standing firm behind him. We'll see Game 3 of this series in just a moment.
By the Progressive Insurance Group. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. The crowd cheering as the Astros take the field. Just as we read that announcement, it'll be the Chicago Cubs and the Houston Astros from Minute Maid Park. The Astros going for a sweep. Going into play tonight, they are tied with Pittsburgh for third in the National League Central, only 4 games off the lead. The Cubs are in last place, 9 games back on an 8-game losing string. Wandy Rodriguez is on the mound. His team is on the field. Bill Brown and Jim DeShays are in the booth.
Thank you, Greg. And as Wandy climbs up on top of the mound, we take a look at the starting lineup for the Cubs, brought to you by Hyundai. David DeJesus leads off. He's in right field with Reed Johnson in center field. Starlin Castro's the shortstop. The cleanup man is left fielder Alfonso Soriano. It's Joe Mather at third base, Jeff Baker at first, Darwin Barney at second, Boy Hill the catcher, Jeff Samardzija the pitcher.
Doug Brocail on Wandy Rodriguez.
Wandy Rodriguez is, our number one. He's been pitching very well. He's attacking with all of his pitches. The one thing that I think keeps Wandy going very well is his combination of fastball and his curveball and being able to dominate with those 2 pitches.
When you look at his last 3 outings, and last time out against the Rangers, a loss, but he pitched a competitive ball game against that lineup, allowed 10 hits, 3 runs, walked a couple while striking out 4. He has an ERA of 2.24. That's good for 9th best in the National League. Cubs will send a lineup against him. It's about all right-handed hitters, save their leadoff man, David DeJesus. He's the only left-handed bat in the lineup tonight. For Dale Swaim / Jamie Quirk, who is manning the club tonight with Swaim out of town. Home Depot brings you the defense. It's Martinez, Bogasevic, Buck, left center, right infield of Johnson, Lowry, Altuve, and Lee, and Jason Castro is the catcher.
So Wandy currently tied for second place on the all-time Houston win list for left-handers with Mike Hampton. He has 76 wins for the Astros. Bob Knepper, the all-time Houston lefty leader. And it's DeJesus leading it off. 281 for David, 1 homer. He's driven in 10. First pitch to him is strike 1 call. Tim Cheetah, the crew chief, is umpiring behind the plate tonight. DeJesus has gone 3 for 8 with an RBI in the series. Chris Johnson's in about a step inside the bag at third.
Doug Brocail talked about Wandy's fastball curveball combination, but he's also used his changeup very effectively this year, throwing it significantly more than he did last year. It's a fastball about 89, 90 miles an hour. He'll change his arm angle every now and then on the fastball, as he will with his curve. He's got pretty good changeup he'll use almost exclusively to the right-handed hitters.
DeJesus has hit safely in 12 of his last 13 games, 352 over that stretch. Cubs are looking for more offense. They're 14th in runs scored in the 16-team National League. He looks at that one, and it's 2-2, and especially against lefties where they have struggled so much. They have a .296 team slugging percentage against left-handed pitching with 2 home runs off southpaws this year. Jay Happ pitched well against them last night and allowed 1 run in 6 innings, getting a 2-1 win. Rolled out to second. Altuve over Lee. 1 out for Wandy. And Reed Johnson will be next.
Certainly your opinion of a ball club will be colored by how they're playing when you see them. But it just doesn't. When you look at this Cub club right now, you don't really envision better days ahead. They're really scuffling and just don't have a whole lot of firepower in that lineup. And the pitching's just been so-so. The bullpen is kind of a mess right now.
Reed Johnson on a 3-game hitting streak begins the night at 2:30. That's ball 1 to Johnson. He's one of those who's being counted upon to hit well against lefties. He's 2 for 4 with an RBI in this series. Johnson against Wandy has 5 hits in 23 career at bats. He turns on that one, sends it left field side, and J.D. Martinez looks up, and Reed Johnson has hit 1 out. Home run number 2 of the season for Johnson gives the Cubs an early 1-0 lead. They had gone 59 innings without having a lead in a game.
Yeah, it's one thing for a horse to come off the pace, but a baseball team needs to have a lead every now and then. It's like a week without a lead for the Cubs until this swing of the bat right here as he gets to his fastball. A little cutting action moving in on him, and Johnson pulls the hands in, gets the barrel on it, and able to keep it fair. A lot of times a ball like that you see will hook foul, but That one able to stay fair. Although that view of it right there was kind of misleading.
Ball one to Starlin Castro. 309, 2 homers, 25 runs batted in. But a rough night last night. Now he shoots one past a diving Altuve into center field. After striking out 4 times last night, he singles here for his 55th hit of the year. He's 5th in the National League in hits.
Jay Happ had him chasing breaking balls down, then fastballs up to finish him off. This time Wandy throws him the fastball in the zone, and Castro showed some patience last night. It didn't really pay off for him as he worked deeper counts and was ultimately punched out. This time he's up swinging early. Good solid line drive single.
Alfonso Soriano has been held to a 114 career average against Wandy. Soriano is 2 for 7 in this series. He homered last night. His 4th home run of the year, and he's hit 4 in his last 8 games. Strike one to Soriano. The cleanup man with 23 career homers against Houston pitching. Soriano did not hit a home run in his first 30 games this season. Cubs will go to Pittsburgh next. They have a day off tomorrow. They'll play 3 there over the weekend. On the road, they're 6-13. The Cubs have just about split all their games in the history of this ballpark here, and they're 49-50. So if they win tonight, they'll be at an even 500 in this ballpark. 1 ball, 1 strike. For Wandy Rodriguez, a 4-1 loss last time out against Texas. Not a bad one. He gave up 3 runs in 6 innings, but did not get that run support, and he's trying to reach the win column for the first time since the 2nd of May. Jason versus Starlin.
Starlin 12 successful steals. He's been caught 5 times. Jason has thrown out just 2 of 24.
Ground ball third to hopper to Chris Johnson, firing to Altuve, then a low throw to Lee. Double play. 5-4-3. Make it 1 run for the Cubs on 2 hits, and the Astros get the 31st twin killing to end the top of the 1st inning. Cubs 1, Astros coming up. Brought to you by Hyundai. Jose Altuve leads it off to play second base. It's Jed Lowry on a 7-game hitting streak, batting second at shortstop. Travis Buck is the right fielder with Carlos Lee at first base. Ryan Bogusevic is in center field. Chris Johnson at third base. J.D. Martinez left field. Jason Castro catcher. Wandy Rodriguez pitcher.
Jeff Samardzija has made a successful transition from the bullpen to the rotation. You look at his last 3 outings. He got beat by the Sox, allowing 3, and just 1 earned run in each of the 2 prior starts. 4-2 with an ERA right at 3 for the big righty. Features, in terms of average velocity, the second best fastball in Major League Baseball, just behind Steven Strasburg. That's among starting pitchers. About 95 miles an hour.
First one was up and in to Altuve, who had 2 hits, including a homer last night, a leadoff homer. And that was his second career leadoff home run. It's 2-0, 3 home runs, 14 runs batted in, a .315 average, and 51 hits for Jose. That's a strike. Make it 2-1 to Altuve, who has scored 24 runs this season. Jordan Schaefer out of the lineup. He had a toenail removed today.
Wow, that's no fun.
No. That's hit foul and out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and Brad Mills is hoping Schaefer can play again Friday night. Here's the way Altuve led off.
And he said after the game, he goes, that may be the best one I've ever hit. He got every bit of that one. Way up there, straightaway center, where the big guys go.
And there's a strikeout for Samardzija, his 54th strikeout in his 52nd inning.
He'll run that high fastball. He also throws a 2-seamer. He'll get a lot of ground balls. And the outfield for the Cubs, it's Soriano, Johnson, De Jesus. Infield of Mather, Castro, Barney, and Baker. Coy Hill is the catcher. Castro has made 8 errors. He also fielded more chances than any other shortstop in the league.
Chet Lowry has been torrid. There's ball 1. 7-game hitting streak, .289 average, 7 homers, 18 runs batted in, good on base average. Lowry has hit .360 during his 7-game hitting streak.
Straight away in the outfield, play him to pull on the infield. Now they're way off the line at third base.
2-0 to Lowry. Lowry has hit .360 on this homestand, including 3 home runs in the 7 games. The Astros 5-2 on this homestand. They went 6-3 on the last homestand. They're 11-9 in May. Lowry takes it. It's a strike. Make it 2-1 now for Samardzija. Travis Buck on deck.
Also has a very good split finger pitch to Samardzija. So he's got a lot of weapons.
Gets that one by Lowry. Make it 2-2.
Right now he's just leaning on that heater after falling behind Altuve, and same with Lowry, falling behind 2-0. Being aggressive with that fastball.
Samardzija did not start a game last year. He worked 75 times in relief for the Cubs. That's hit in the air, and Castro goes out to shallow left field in front of Soriano. 2 outs. And Travis Buck will follow. Samardzija is listed at 6'5", former wide receiver at Notre Dame. An All-America there in 06. He was a 5th-round pick that year of the Chicago Cubs. Signed a 5-year, $10 million deal.
Yeah, 5th-round pick, but paid like a first-rounder, and projected as a first-rounder, but some concerns as to what he would do professionally. So fell to the 5th round.
Travis Buck takes it. It's strike 1 to Travis. 246, no homers, 6 runs batted in.
Set all kinds of receiving records while at Notre Dame.
Buck's 2 for 10 on this homestand. It's 1-1. Travis has been a terrific pinch hitter, 7 for 12. This is his 16th start. Carlos Lee on deck. In the air to left center. Soriano moving to his left for it, and he gets there for the 3rd out. Samardzija has a 1-2-3 inning with a lot of fastballs, and it's 1-0 Cubs.
cold one to look forward to Miller time later in tonight's game. Brought to you by Miller Lite.
1-0 Cubs. The second inning begins with Joe Mather in the box. Taking ball one from Wandy Rodriguez. He has 3 home runs and a .260 average. Mather rips a line drive to left. J.D. Martinez there. That ball was really smacked. 1 out.
Gee, Wally, every time I really hit one hard, somebody catches it. Is that Eddie Haskell in left field?
It could be Eddie Haskell in left field. The Beeve just mashed one into out number 1. Jeff Baker's next. Baker getting playing time here against the 2 lefties. Half last night and Rodriguez tonight. He was 1 for 3 in last night's game. Baker takes a look at it. It's ball 1 with Darwin Barney on deck. Baker 30 years old, a veteran infielder. Looks at that one as well. It's 2 balls, no strikes. Brian LaHare's on the bench, and it's an interesting lineup card for Jamie Quirk, the bench coach who's taking over as the skipper with Dale Swaim away for his son's graduation tonight. All left-handed hitters on the Cubs bench, including Brian LaHare, who's been one of the best left-handed hitters in the National League in the early going. 3-0 to Baker. Jamie's managed 16 major league games, filling in for the Rockies and Reds when their skippers were away.
And Wandy this year, in terms of batting average against, has been equally effective against both right and left-handed batters.
That's into left field off the end of the bat. Baker's aboard with hit number 3. Bart.
Hey, Brownie, want to let fans know that I am looking for a fan of the game tonight. Please tweet me at BartEnnis, Let me know who you are, where you're sitting, or where a friend of yours is sitting, maybe celebrating an anniversary or a birthday or something special. Let me know why you should be the fan of the game. Shoot me a tweet. We'll get you on the air. Brownie.
Thanks, Bart. Baker,
how they're going to know if they're here, they're not watching the game. It seems to be a bug in our system. We need to work that out.
We'll work on it. 1 homer for Darwin Barney, 9 runs batted in. He looks at strike 1 on the curve. .266 for Darwin.
So I think if you're watching at home and you have a friend at the ballpark, you should tweet and say, hey, Bart's looking for a fan of the game.
That's a way to work around that bug in the system. Got a lot of bugs around this system the last few days. That's a ball, make it 1 ball, 1 strike.
And we're talking about this lineup of almost all right-handed bats except for the leadoff man. I think it's a good idea to sprinkle in a left-handed bat every now and then against a lefty because it changes the look sometimes. If you're on the mound and everybody's hitting from the same side of the plate, it's very easy to get into a rhythm. Which a lot of times against left-handed pitchers, the only left-handed batters that play are the really good ones.
Yeah. The Tony Gwynns and the Mark Graces and guys like that.
People used to say to me, you're better against righties than lefties. And I said, well, look at the lefties I faced, man. It's Gwynn and Keith Hernandez, and in the American League it was Boggs and Brett. Couldn't get those guys out. You kidding me?
Wandy's 2-3 at home. It's kind of a tough luck 2-3 with a 2.52 ERA. In his career, he's 44 and 33 at Minute Maid Park. That's ripped foul and into the seats there. McCoy Hill on deck. The count remains 1-2 for Barney. The Cubs are 1-7 against left-handed starters. Don't disturb the snack there in the early innings of the ball game. Swing and a miss. Barney strikes out. Number 1 for Wandy. Coy Hill will follow.
breaking pitch here to finish Barney off, who showed a very quick bat turning on that inside fastball. And Johnson got to an inside heater as well. We'll see how Wandy and Jason Castro counter that. Have to sprinkle in a few more change-ups maybe.
Coy Hill with that .333 average has only 12 at bats with the Cubs. Takes the curve for strike one. He was 2 for 4 Monday night. The game started by Bud Norris. The Astros won that one 8-4. They're going for their 3rd series sweep of the year. Second 3-game series. 0-2. The Hill was pulled up, and of course he had some years of service with the Cubs the last few seasons, but had signed with the Reds organization and was at Double-A for them, and got a chance to join the Chicago ball club with all the catching injuries they've had. Castro kept it right there.
So a breakdown on Wandy with our Fox tracks. He throws his curveball more than any other pitcher in the league. There it is, brought to you by Nissan. 28 pitches so far, 50% heaters, 43 either curveballs or changeups.
It's 2-2.
Man, got squeezed there.
Looks pretty good. Bob Nepper won 93 games with the Astros. He's their all-time win leader among lefty pitchers. Wandy's second to Bob in several other categories as well. Ground ball third, backhanded. Johnson going to Lee for the 3rd out. No runs a hit and the man left. Cubs 1, Astros nothing in the second.
That fellow already is. The Astros are celebrating the 1970s Rainbow Era as part of their 50th anniversary celebration. So join the Astros Sunday, June 3rd, when the Astros host the Reds, as 10,000 fans receive a rainbow-style retro lunch bag courtesy of Champion Energy Services. So root now and buy tickets at Astros.com.
Thank you, Greg. There's a little retro-style uni, along with the present one. A mixture of the old and the new. We look forward to that next homestand starting a week from Friday, June 1st, with Cincinnati in town. Carlos Lee, 294, 4 homers, 21 runs batted in. Is the leadoff man here in the Astros' second inning. Carlos has gone 2 for 7 with an RBI in this series. This is the first time Samardzija has ever started against the Astros. He has 15 relief appearances against them. Fouled away, and his record is 2-1 with a 4.76 ERA against the Astros. Carlos hit a 2-run homer off him last July in Chicago to tag Samardzija with a blown save. Jeff came in with a 3-2 lead in the 8th inning.
Pitching very much, excuse me, very much like a short reliever right now, just one fastball after another.
Very high dosage of that number 1 pitch for Jeff. It's 1-2. Samardzija has been going deep into games. He's gone 7 innings or more in 3 of his last 4 starts. Last time out, pitched well, but lost 3-2 Friday to the White Sox, giving up 3 runs in 7 1/3 innings through 113 pitches. That smoked to center field, but Johnson is there to catch it. 4 straight retired by Samardzija. It's been a low-scoring series. The Astros have scored 10 runs in 2 games. The Cubs have scored 5. Brian Bogusevic, who went to high school in the Chicago area before moving down to Tulane, begins the night at 218 with a homer. He's driven in 10. Bogey's 0 for 3 in this series, 2 for 17 on the homestand. Third baseman in tight as he looks at strike 1. Joe Mather's on the grass. Castro's up the middle. So that leaves Bogusevic a lot of room on the left side. Crack bad roller. Darwin Varney with a quick flip. 2 outs.
Samardzija coming with a cut fastball that time, still all hard stuff. This time a little cutter in on the hands, getting the job done, shattering the bat of Bogusevic. He basically, you get the sense his mindset is to go through this batting order the first time, just attacking with fastballs. Here it is, boys. See if you can hit it.
Samardzija with 4 wins is tied for his club lead. Paul Mahalam also has 4. Chris Johnson with 5 homers, 23 runs batted in, has had a big month of May.
I don't recall Samardzija throwing anything off speed yet. Maybe that cut fastball.
CJ was tossed out of the game last night for banging down his batting helmet at first base on a close call. Tim Cheetah, who's the home plate umpire tonight, was at first base last night. 1-1.
Tim's the crew chief. He's been doing this, well, probably close to 30 years. That was a breaking ball.
Yep.
Tim has one of the more distinctive strike calls, too.
Sure does.
Very stylistic back there.
He'll let you know. CJ with 23 runs batted in, the club leader. Takes a look at that one for ball 2. In May, Chris has hit .286 with 5 homers, 15 runs batted in, and that includes a .524 slugging percentage this month. Gets that one fouled to stay alive at 2-2 with J.D. Martinez on deck. Samardzija first came to the big leagues in 08 with the Cubs.
So Samardzija shaking his head there because he just threw a bad slider.
That one's in the dirt for ball 3.
I'm not sure what that was, but he just made up his mind, but he wasn't going to hang it.
Yeah. Couldn't tell if it was a split or what it was. He hit Paul Konerko in the face with a split finger pitch. Apologized to him later, but just one of those pitches that got away.
Movement on that.
Strikeout number 2. Samardzija has retired the first 6 in order and leads it 1-0. This moment in Astros history is brought to you by the MD Anderson Cancer Center. May 23rd, 1988, the Astros defeated the Pirates 1-0, or 3-0 rather, in a game called after 8 innings due to gale force winds, stopping the game. Dirt and debris littered the field at Three Rivers Stadium. Wandy Rodriguez just threw the first pitch to Jeff Samardzija here, leading off the third, and the second one is fouled away. Samardzija got a hit in his last game last time up against the White Sox. He's 1 for 15 with an RBI.
A guy who's capable of playing at the highest level in a couple different sports. You have to assume he's a good enough athlete that he'd handle the bat a little bit.
He checked his swing on appeal to Jeff Nelson. 1-2 now. That would have been a swing a couple nights ago, I guarantee you.
It's just whatever the umpire feels. So just an instinct call.
That's line to right field. Samardzija is on with a single. So 2 hits in his last 2 at bats for Jeff, and that's hit number 4 for the Cubs. Took it up the right field line with 2 strikes. He's aboard for De Jesus.
A little emergency hack there with a flick of the wrist. Ball with a little authority to right field for a knock.
De Jesus grounded out to second. Chris Johnson moving in as the toss goes over to first on the pitcher. Well, that might be just Brad Mills versus Jamie Quirk. He thinks Jamie's going to put his pitcher in motion. Wanted, and Wandy comes in.
Maybe to see if De Jesus would tip his hand to show bunt or not.
That Brad was joking around before the game about managing against Jamie. Sacrifice. Samardzija goes. Usually it's the pitcher sacrificing. In this case, he gets sacrificed to second.
Boy, and Cubs playing small ball early on here. Their inability to score runs. There's no confidence in this club from Jamie Quirk, so he puts a bunt on.
Reed Johnson homered in the first inning. Inside the left field foul pole. He takes that one, and it's ball 1 to Reed. Since 2009, Wandy has an ERA of 3.26 in 104 starts. Only one National League starter has a lower ERA in that span of time than Wandy. Clayton Kershaw, 2.56. Wandy slightly lower than Cole Hamels since 2009 in ERA.
Well, I don't know if Wandy's the most underrated pitcher in the league, but he's probably in the short list of the top 4 or 5.
Well, last year provided a case in point when he was 11-11 with a good ERA for a club that was 56 and 106. Speaking of Cole Hamels, Mr. Hamels is pitching against Washington again tonight. 1-2. Washington does not have a hit through 5. There's the Johnson home run.
Just inside the foul pole. Talked about Reed Johnson last night. He's a guy who's always done well against left-handed pitching. So far this year he had not, but track record against lefties is a good one.
That one hit him. Or did it? Throw goes to third. No, the ball is dead. Hit by the pitch, and the ball is dead. Samardzija took off for third because he saw the ball kick out away from the plate, and then he was thrown out. But now Brad Mills is coming out to clarify with Tim Cheetah, but he ruled that Johnson was hit by the pitch.
An interesting play here. This curveball apparently gets Johnson on the foot. Just kind of catches him on that back toe. Maybe just brushes it on the way by. I didn't see the call initially from Cheetah. That may be what Brad Mills is asking about. Okay, yeah, now there's the call there. So dead ball No chance to advance for Samardzija.
Now runners at first and second, one out for Castro. Castro singled to center field in the first inning. Castro's 2 for 12 against Wandy Rodriguez now.
And for an umpire, it's almost impossible to see that happen at home plate. You either hear it or you just make the call based on the reaction of the hitter.
The Astros have a 2.84 ERA in May. That's the best in the majors. Wandy brings the curveball in. It's 1-1. So Cole Hamels, who got into it with the Nationals a few days ago, has not given up a hit through 5. 4 walks for Castro, 8 errors. And with the situation with Bryce Harper, that's a very interesting game tonight. Hamels drilled him with a pitch, and then Harper stole home on Hamels. That's a swing on appeal to Jeff Nelson to make it 1-2 on Castro. I have to agree with Mr. Nelson on that one. That definitely was a swing.
Should have been a called strike anyway.
It's 2-2. These two will meet 15 times this season. The Astros now with their 15-10 home record are tied for the 4th best winning percentage at home in the National League at .600. Lowry flags it down, throws to third, getting the force play there to Johnson. An alert play for out number 2. Forcing Samardzija from 6 to 5.
Yeah, real nice play by Jed Lowry. His only option was to go to third base on the play here. Samardzija really not getting a whole lot of information from Pat Listash, whether to stay up, go down, or just take it on into the dugout.
Short throw for Lowry, and sometimes the third baseman won't be able to get back to third to take that throw. Now it's Soriano. He bounced into a double play earlier. Time called here before Wandy throws. Giovanni Soto is among those sidelined right now with an injury for the Cubs. He's had knee surgery. Wellington Castillo, another catcher, is on the disabled list. And Steve Clevenger, a third catcher, is on the disabled list for the Cubs.
You don't want to be a catcher. Well, maybe you do want to be a catcher in the Cubs organization because they're whittling away at the depth chart. Just seems like there's a lot of bad karma there.
Yeah.
That Lawley caught last night, becoming the 5th different Cub to start behind the plate this year.
There have been several stories written lately about first baseman Anthony Rizzo, who today hit his 16th homer, and he is the PCL leader. Playing at AAA Iowa, he came in a trade with San Diego.
Well, the thinking was that Laher, who's playing first base, not tonight, but has been the primary first baseman for the Cubs, would be kind of a placeholder until Rizzo was ready. But Laher's performed so well, it's changed the thinking a little bit. Clearly, Rizzo's the guy in the future, but maybe Laher moves to the outfield at some point when Rizzo comes up.
That could cut into Soriano's playing time. Soriano fouls it.
In a perfect world for the Cubs, somebody bites on Soriano. They're able to make a deal to move him along, and that would open up a spot to make that move. They're in no hurry to do it because they're in a rebuilding mode. It's not like they're going to win this year. So keeping Rizzo down on the farm is not really hurting them at all. It'll help sell some tickets when it gets called up, perhaps. They don't seem to have a problem selling tickets at Wrigley Field.
No. Foul back. 2-2 to Soriano.
Might just soothe some of the fans, and I'm sure the media in town are getting after him to promote Rizzo. There's probably been a lot of noise about that in Chicago.
They're averaging 37,285 at home. And school's not out yet. Well, the Cubs have that special aura about them. For years they've played mostly day games, and generations of fans have grown up with kids being taken by their moms to day games while dad's at work. They've been weaned on Cubs baseball.
It's important to learn those harsh lessons of life at a young age. Life isn't fair, kids. Well, it's a sweet setup, isn't it? You think about it. You know, they've been around as long as anybody in professional baseball, going way back to the 1800s, in a major city, a major market, charming old ballpark.
Struck him out. No runs, 1 hit, 2 men left. Strikeout number 2 ends the top of the third for Wandy. 1-0 Cubs.
Columbia Pictures movie That's My Boy, starring Adam Sandler and Andy Samberg, in theaters June 15th.
Wow, that's a dynamic duo there, boy.
Well, the Astros have run up against fastball throwing Jeff Samardzija. He's retired the first 6. He leads it 1-0. J.D. Martinez got the game-winning hit last night. That was an RBI single in the 6th inning, and the Astros 2-1 win. 219 for J.D. 3 homers. He's driven in 22. This one goes to center. Reed Johnson backing on it. 1 out. AT&T has trivia for us tonight, and we'll give you the question right here. Bobby Meacham made his debut with the Yankees in 1983. Who led the Astros in home runs that year? 1983 was a couple years before you arrived on the scene, JD.
It was indeed, yeah.
You don't remember that from personal experience, anyway, of being a teammate. But we'll let the fans think about that for a minute as Jason Castro settles in. 213 for Jason. 1 homer, 11 runs batted in, and that homer pretty impressive as he hit an 0-2 pitch for a 3-run shot Monday night against the Cubs. Matt Garza. Castro puts it in the air near the left field line. It's slicing and fair ball into the corner. Castro is the first guy to reach base for the Astros, and he does so with a double, his 4th of the year.
These Astro hitters have to be going up there sitting on fastballs. They've had some pretty good swings. JD hit his ball well to center field. Carlos in the last inning hit a ball pretty well to center field. So far it hasn't really bitten Samardzija. First hit of the game goes the other way for Jason Castro.
Wandy Rodriguez comes up next, looking for his first hit of this season. 0 for 16. He has an RBI.
fastball goes from 94 to 97 miles an hour. You can locate it and get very good movement on it from time to time. You don't need to do a whole lot differently, especially first time through the orders as hitters get their first look at him. He appeared to be stunned there momentarily by what Coy Hill put down.
Really? 0-2. Wandy's a switch hitter, but he often bats right-handed against right-handed pitching.
What do we suppose that is?
We have no clue.
He just said little. I have no idea. Is he better one way or the other?
Well,
did he say he's better one way or the other?
I don't know.
Maybe he feels like he's in a left-handed funk.
That could be it. Little chop. Castro heads for third. Starlin Castro takes care of out number 2. AT&T had that trivia question about who led the Astros in homers in 1983.
Bobby Meacham was a clue. Meacham was a shortstop.
Yeah. Dickey hit 20 homers, and then, of course, the next year, that unfortunate beaning by Mike Therese. And Dickey, those 20 bombs in '83, led the club by 6. Jose Cruz and Phil Garner second with 14. Now it's Jose Altuve. He struck out in the first inning. He was out practicing bunting early today. Getting a chance to lead off again tonight. Third baseman Mather even with the bag. Jose takes a look at ball 1. He was really dumped at second base last night, too. On a forced play. Got a high throw from third, and that led to a collision at second. Got up kind of slowly.
There's a little profile on the diamond vision here. It says that Jose enjoys playing ping pong.
Okay.
His at-bat music is La Pregunta by former Braves reliever Jose Alvarez.
Really?
I don't know. Jose Alvarez.
Okay. 2 balls and strike. I know you're a music lover, but didn't know you followed all genres of music.
No. Very important for not all guys, but a lot of these guys get kind of hung up on their at-bat music. What plays when they come up with that? Big deal. Very important.
Did they do that when you were playing?
No. I kind of like it. I mean, I would have been in favor of it.
Now, do pitchers have music when they bat?
Well, the relievers have music when they come into the game. Certainly the closer, it's a whole big stage production. It's like something from Broadway.
Yeah.
When the closer comes into the game. Or pro wrestling. They expect that one of these days somebody's going to come riding out of the bullpen on an elephant like Apollo Creed.
Foul ball makes it 3-2. That went up and in on Altuve. Well, the Astros bullpen is being called the Regulators, and they posed for some shots today, which you'll be seeing on our telecast, and you already saw one earlier. Last night, the Regulators in 3 innings allowed 1 hit, no runs, with no walks and 7 strikeouts. So they need their own music.
Well, it was fun the other day when J.D. Martinez came up and they were playing Dancing Queen by ABBA for his at-bat music. So I'm sure that was just to try to break the slump, get a little goofy.
Yeah. We don't know what music the Regulators have selected, if any. But they're hanging together as a group. They have the 3rd best bullpen ERA in the National League. In the air foul, and Altuve continues to battle here on some margin. Phillies lead Washington 2-0. They're in the bottom of the 6th. The no-hitter's gone for Cole Hamels.
Jinxed him, Brownie.
Yeah, I did jinx him. This will be the 8th pitch coming to Altuve.
Well, Brian Harper has a hit tonight. I wonder if he's the guy that broke it up. That would be kind of fitting.
Oh, yeah, but those two have something going. They say they don't. But Hamels admitted, hey, I wanted to test him. He's a rookie. I wanted to see how he handled it. And then Bryce Harper stole home on him to rub it in a little bit. Hamels admitted a few days ago, well, it didn't work out.
He got suspended for 5 games.
Yeah.
One thing, you drill a guy and then you pop off about it after the fact.
Yeah.
You're giving the league no choice but to suspend you.
Absolutely no choice. That, though, is turning into a rivalry, though. Washington, Philadelphia.
Philadelphia's won the East 5 consecutive years. Well, they're looking up at the Nationals. He's looking up at everybody in the East right now.
Well, Altuve really worked for that walk. It's his 13th walk of the year. He had a 9-pitch at bat. First walk for Samardzija. And that's been the big improvement for Samardzija. Last year, he walked 50 in 88 innings. That's his 17th walk now in 54 innings this year. Jed Lowry's the batter. He popped short.
Yeah, and I think, as a starting pitcher, you have more of a, your thinking is long term about working your way through a lineup over the course of a ball game. Coming out of that bullpen, especially a guy with his arm, I'm sure it was just max effort every pitch and just airing it out and not really thinking too much about locating. It could be a case of just trying to stay away from contact when you're pitching in those late game situations with the game on the line. Sometimes you try to be a little too fine.
1-0 to Lowry.
Probably get a pretty good endorsement deal from Captain Morgan with that look he's got going out there.
Strike makes it 1-1. Did you realize there are .50 runs expected with runners on first and third and 2 outs? That's up on the scoreboard right now.
Half a run.
Half a run could be expected from this situation.
And that's an all, the changes obviously depending on who the hitter is.
Right.
But when you take the entirety of these situations, that's the run expectancy.
Yeah, that's not, well, that would be higher with Jed Lowry batting the way he's hitting this year, but you're right.
If we don't get it in this time and this comes up again, we can rest assured that run will come home.
And Jed Lowry is 8 for 17 lifetime against the Cubs. But this time Samardzija pulls the string for strikeout number 3. It's no runs a hit, 2 men stranded, 1-0 Cubs after 3. And now as the fourth inning comes, it's Mather, Baker, and Barney due up for Jamie Quirk's Chicago Cubs. Jamie guiding the club for just this one game tonight, as Dale Swaim is in Arizona for his son Rustin's high school graduation. Mather is, he tries to bunt here, and it drops, and Wandy Rodriguez will throw and get him.
Ooh. Good play, close play. Mather hit a rocket for a line out his first time up, and now tries to bunt for a base hit. Think about him last night. I mean, he's been around a while, and you wouldn't consider him a prospect, but he's an interesting looking player. Long and strong, reminds me a little bit of Jason Worth, and that's Worth's game too. Worth has some power, also runs well.
Yeah, he probably bears checking out extensively for the Cubs situation this year. Now Baker takes strike one. That's what it often becomes all about for a lot of these teams. Cubs are 15-28. They have the worst winning percentage in the National League, .349. And sure, it's not even close to the 1/3 mark of the season yet, but the way it looks, they might as well look at anybody they can who can help them out on injury. Curve misses, 2-1. Meanwhile, for the Astros, you know, they're 4 games out. Pittsburgh lost today, so if the Astros win, they'll move into 3rd place in front of Pittsburgh. St. Louis and Cincinnati in front of them. The Cardinals 24-19, the Reds 23-19. So nobody's really taken charge of the NL Central. That's smoke up the right field line. That'll kick out towards center field. And Baker goes to second and will make it easily with a double. So if the Astros go on this road trip, admittedly a tough one, to Los Angeles and Colorado, come back home and they're this close or even closer to the top clubs in the NL Central, they will play those clubs, Cincinnati and St. Louis, on the next homestand. That could make it interesting.
Yeah, Reds probably playing the best baseball of anybody in the division. 7-3 over their last 10. They've won 4 in a row. They seem to be asserting themselves, but the Cardinals have fallen back some. Here's a double the other way for Baker. He's 2 for 2 now. He's hit to right, double to left.
He's aboard for Barney, who struck out. Here's ball 1.
Cubs getting much better swings tonight than they did last night.
Jamie Quirk managed 8 games for Kansas City in '98 and 8 more for Colorado. I guess it's Cincinnati, but it was Kansas City when Tony Muser was suspended. He took over there. Just an outstanding baseball man.
Well, he's in the right game then.
Yeah, he might prefer this to coaching
football. Yeah,
NBA playoffs.
Outstanding baseball man there.
Lowry takes care of out number 2. We go to Greg Lucas.
Hey, Astro fans, Chevy is proud to present a new show. It's called Chevy Hometown Kids. It's not about the score, of course. It's about the experience. You can tune in each Saturday at 10 a.m. right here on Fox Sports Houston, or you can visit hometownkids.tv for more information on the kids in the audience tonight.
Greg Lucas is an outstanding baseball man.
Yes, he is. Some people call him George Lucas.
That's true. I saw that on the. My answer always is George has all the money. That's how you tell us apart.
You get George. You used to get Milo. You still get Milo from time to time?
Oh, every so often. Oh, Paul Casanova, the old catcher.
Really?
Saw me yesterday and said Milo. And he knows Milo because Milo and he worked together in Atlanta.
Okay. Backhanded Lowry. Throwing to first. Accurate throw to get Troy Hill. It's no runs, a hit, and a man left. And going to the bottom of the 4th inning, the Cubs lead it 1-0.
Brought to you by Jack in the Box. Right now, try the new Chipotle Chicken Club and make it a combo with fries and a drink. By the all-new Mazda CX-5 with 35 highway miles per gallon. And by Mattress Firm. Save money, sleep happy. And now back to the booth, a couple of happy guys, Bill Brown and Jim Deshaies.
Oh, we are. Thank you, Greg. Well, we were referring to that reference to George Lucas. Jeff Luhnow, the Astros general manager, was doing a chat session the other night, and somebody tossed out that name of George Lucas, saying, I wonder if George Lucas is going to do another chat session. Well, that's Greg Lucas. Are you doing another chat session this year?
No, we did those a couple years ago. Actually, he thought it was last year. We haven't done those for a couple of seasons, and not on the schedule this year.
All right, but Jeff Luhnow did a long chat session, about 20 minutes longer than scheduled the other night. And the fans enjoyed that. Those are those giveaway caps. Nice looking caps, as you see on the left there. They're being given away to the fans tonight.
Just in time for the road trip. A new hat.
Very smart looking caps. 1-0 Cubs on the homer in the first by Reed Johnson. Travis Buck's the batter. He fly to left. Showing bunt. He takes ball one.
Again, the Cubs shifting, and they've got third Sacker Mather well off the line. Now he pulls up a little bit in front of the bag. Still giving the line, but he's tightened up.
Buck bounces one over Samardzija. Here's Castro firing to first. He's got a big time arm. One out.
Oh, he made a sparkling play here last night on Chris Johnson. Great athlete, has tremendous range. He's kicked it around a little bit. He's a little inconsistent, but certainly capable of making really blue star plays.
Carlos Lee comes up. Carlos flied to center, hit the ball pretty well in the second inning. Astros and Budweiser had a press conference this morning here at Minute Maid Park to announce the Walk Off a Hero program. There's ball one. Jim Crane was there, and Silver Eagle president John Now. Budweiser is donating portions of funds raised from the sale of their specially marked patriotic cases of beer to this program, the Folds of Honor Foundation. And they'll give $5,000, as it was announced today. You see John Now and Jim Crane from sales of those beer cans to every Astros walk-off win this season. Budweiser will donate $5,000 to the Folds of Honor Foundation, which provides scholarships for families of U.S. military personnel killed or disabled while serving their country. 2 balls and a strike. Carlos Lee with Brian Bogusevic waiting to bat next. Rolled outside the first base line, foul. 2-2.
Yeah, go ahead, Brandon.
Carlos was talking about playing first base last night, about catching the throws from the various infielders. And Chris Johnson, he said his ball tails. And first baseman has to be aware of that, because it kind of moves back toward where the runner's coming from. And then he said Wilton Lopez threw me a ball last night that was really hard to catch. Said it was about 93.
Probably with pretty good sink.
Yeah.
Well, ideally, as an infielder, you like to be able to get all 4 seams, get the ball in your hand, so you have all 4 seams. The ball will carry across the infield. It won't have any of that tailing action. But sometimes when you're in a hurry, you don't have that luxury. You just grab it and throw it. And a lot of times, too, it's dictated by the arm angle with which you throw the ball.
Into left field, past the diving Mather. Lee is aboard with hit number 2 for the Astros.
Astros managed just 4 hits in last night's ball game, but it was good enough to win. They're having a tough night here, getting anything going off Samardzija. 1 out double by Castro in the third, 1 out single here by Carlos. Out in front of what appeared to be a split finger pitch, but he kept the hands back and then throws the head through the zone. Well, he's been such a good hitter all these years. Very balanced, lately he's been taking some big swings and been off balance, but he only does that early in the count when he's cheating.
Bogusevic bounced to second earlier. Samardzija has thrown ball 1 to 7 of 13. Astros batters. And there's another one. 8 of 14, looking at ball 1 on the first pitch. George Springer playing at Lancaster, the Astros first round draft choice last year, now has a 13-game hitting streak. He homered last night against High Desert. That's his 10th home run of the year. He's hitting .329. Foul back, 1-1. Springer there, and Giovanni Meyer at .309 has a .414 on base percentage at Lancaster.
A little further up the chain at AAA, Brett Wallace hit his third home run in the last 4 games. Jimmy Paredes also went deep. Paredes now hitting .330 something. So be curious to get a scouting report on Brett Wallace, his power surge he's had lately. I wonder if it's a byproduct of an adjustment he's made. Because that was kind of the talk when he went down to the minor leagues. He engaged that lower body a little bit more and maybe start to hit for some power. And you see the results over the last 10 games have been very good. Fernando Martinez having a solid year. He's an outfielder. Formerly one of the top prospects for the Mets.
Chris Johnson on deck. Bogusevic looks at it. It's 2-2. Well, the Astros have some candidates for call-ups there.
Well, this is about the time of the year where the guys at AAA start to get a little anxious if they're performing well. And they look up and they see the box scores and they see some of the guys above them scuffling. And you don't wish harm on anybody, but you sure want their job. That's just the nature of it.
Understandable.
You know the big club's not going to make many moves, the first month of the season. But now as you get closer to Memorial Day and guys are still scuffling, you start to think, okay, agents probably calling Jeff Luhnow saying, hey, you see what my guy's doing down here?
Strikeout number 4. And it's Chris Johnson. He struck out on a 3-2 offering in the second. Domingo Santana hit a couple of homers for Lancaster last night. Strike 1 to Johnson. J.D. Martinez on deck. David Carpenter worked a scoreless inning last night in relief for Oklahoma City. The Red Hawks 26-19. Line into left center for C.J. Soriano over. And then he has to turn and throw towards second, and he does hold him to a single, even though the throw is way off the mark. So Johnson gets lead at third, and it's first and third, 2 outs for Martinez.
And CJ talking over with Bobby Meacham saying, should I have gone there? And the answer is probably yes. You see an outfielder have to travel this far to get a ball. The likelihood that he's going to turn around and make an accurate throw somewhat remote. But with a base runner ahead of you, that's kind of the wild card here. You don't want to take a risk get thrown out when you've already got one man in scoring position. If there's nobody out there, CJ, I'm pretty sure Bobby would have sent him to second base if there's nobody on ahead of him, especially with 2 outs.
Ball 1 to Martinez. JD hit the first pitch to the center fielder.
This run's going to score because the run expectancy situation, first and third 2 outs, is .5, and we didn't get it last time.
Yeah.
This run is coming home, baby.
Okay.
Odds are in the Astros' favor right here.
JD's been feeling good about the pitches he's swinging at. He's not getting results. Fly ball right field. And a run for DeJesus here near the line. Barney sprinting out. That ball is in for a hit. 2 runs are going to score as they're both down. And J.D. Martinez winds up at third. The Astros lead at 2-1. Great effort by Darwin Barney, but he and DeJesus got tangled up as they both went all out for that one, and Martinez benefits, driving in 2.
Cubs just didn't realize that the math was against them there. That run had to come home, but not only does 1 come home, 2 comes home. It looked like DeJesus had the ball and then jarred loose after the contact by Barney. And DeJesus comes up thinking he still has it. Watch, he's showing it to the umpire. I got it. No, you don't. Great effort, boy. You talk about players selling out to try to make a play. Gotta love the effort. And you gotta love the result for the Astros as 2 runs come home.
So JD gets a break. Winds up with a 2-run triple. His first triple of the year. He now has 24 runs batted in. And that moves him ahead of Chris Johnson. Into the club lead. As JD was saying, the Cubs find that everybody's okay, so they're going to continue with Barney at second, DeJesus in right field. Before the game, JD said, I'm getting in good counts, but I've changed my swing a little bit over the winter from last year, and it hasn't been working, so now I'm trying to go back to last year's swing, and maybe that'll help him.
A great effort as both guys sell out, and nobody's going to yield there. It's not like Barney's going to peel off because he's sure DeJesus is going to be able to make a play, and the same way for DeJesus, you're just going to go all out.
Castro's the batter. He doubled inside the left field line earlier. First career triple for Martinez. That's ball 1. And sometimes that's what a hitter needs. He just needs for a ball to drop. Wandy Rodriguez on deck, and we get the intentional walk now. Bring up Wandy.
Well, certainly, if the Cubs are going to bunt earlier in the game to play for a run, they're going to employ this tactic here to get Wandy up there. We'll see if Wandy bats right or left-handed this time.
Might switch. Free pass for Castro.
He's going to hit right-handed again.
Sure is. He made contact the first time up. Hit a slow grounder to shortstop. Samardzija with a very good strikeout rate, so that's something of a conquest to put the bat on the ball if you're a pitcher facing a guy who throws the second fastest average fastball in the league this year.
Yeah,
so
according to Fangraphs, he was 94.8 or something like that, just behind Steven Strasburg.
Tap foul, there's strike 1. Milwaukee beat San Francisco today 8-5, beating Barry Zito. John Axford got save number 7. Jonathan Lucroy hit his 5th home run.
Man is on a tear.
He has had quite a season so far. Tapper back to Samardzija to end the 4th with 2 runs scoring on 3 hits and 2 men left. 2-1 Houston.
the U Drive. Astros with a day off tomorrow, at least as far as the games are concerned. What they will be doing is traveling to Los Angeles for the final time ever as a National League club. First of 3 in the start of a 7-game road trip. Lucas Harrell makes his 10th start of the season. He's 3-3 with an ERA just a tick over 4. He was a winning pitcher Saturday. The Astros knocked out the Texas Rangers. Harrell against Clayton Kershaw. And Saturday it'll be Norris and Billingsley, and Jay Happ and Chris Capuano will go on Sunday. This has been your Mazda Game Break. Brownie JD, boy, you're starting off tough going to L.A. where the Dodgers are 19-4 at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, just such a good team right now with the outstanding pitching, even without Matt Kemp. Overall, they're 30-13 record, .698 winning percentage. That is the best in the majors, JD.
Yeah, they've won 6 in a row. Last night they were losing 6-1 relatively late in that ball game to the Diamondbacks and came back and won. So they just got it going on right now, feeling awfully good about themselves. And as Brownie mentioned, even without Kemp, they continue to get it done. Ethier leads the league in RBI. You get Kershaw and Billingsley, and then Chris Capuano is having a very nice year. He pitches the finale on Sunday.
Jeff Samardzija got to hit his first time up to right field, taking that one ball 1. Capuano has a 2.25 ERA. Foul back, 1-1. Kershaw 1.90. It is going to be tough to score at Dodger Stadium this year.
Astros were shut out there 3 times last year. They played 6 games at Dodger Stadium last year. 2-4, and they were shut out 3 of their last 4 games there. I think they scored 1 run in the other game. So that's an idea what they're up against.
J.D. Martinez remembered that when we were talking before the game tonight. Dodgers in Arizona just getting started now, and it's Ted Lilly and Joe Saunders in Arizona. 2-2. Meanwhile, that Diamondback club, somebody said they have about the same record they did a year ago at this time. They're 19-25, but it's not looking too rosy for them. They're 11.5 back. And that's a strikeout of Samardzija. Looking back at Tim Cheetah to confirm it's out number 1. 3rd strikeout for Wandy. We go to Bart.
Thank you, Bill. Hey, join the Astros for the 10th annual Race for the Pennant this Saturday, presented by Methodist Center for Sports Medicine. This year, the race will include a 5K, a new 10K, and Junction Jack Kids Fun Run. Proceeds will benefit the Astros in Action Foundation. So register today at astros.com/race. Bill, back to you.
Thank you, Bart. Wandy with a 2-1 lead now. 5 hits for the Cubs, 4 for the Astros. No errors tonight. Each club with 4 men left on. And it's De Jesus batting. In the air to right center. Travis Buck.
Comes down. He's out.
He's out. 2 down.
They always come down. Diamondbacks, what are they now?
They are
19-25.
Yeah.
Well, they were 19-23 last year.
Okay.
And that was in the middle of a real good run, though. They were 17-23, and then they went off.
And that's the problem with being 19-25. They need to go off sometime.
They went 13-1 after being 17-23.
Just doesn't seem like it's going to happen this year with Ian Kennedy's struggles and the injuries they've had. Stephen Drew's been out. Parra's not hitting the way he did a year ago, and so many guys who had big years. And that's the problem with repeating. Guys need to have good years again. Reed Johnson homered, and then he was hit by a pitch. We're not awarding the Western Division title to the Dodgers yet. 1 ball, 1 strike. But boy, with a 7-game lead, they've really made a nice start for themselves. Mets knocked off Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh. Jonathan Neese winning 3-1, beating Charlie Morton. Frank Francisco got his 12th save. 1-2. So do the Dodgers have the magic all year long?
According to Cool Standings, they have a 93.7% chance of making the playoffs.
Really?
Yeah.
That is very interesting. To this early point of the season. Wow. Cool Standings? What is that?
Oh, it's a website where they do all kinds of math and they come out. projections, and it varies, goes throughout the year. You can follow clubs and see. But right now, the Astros have a 24.3% chance.
Interesting.
Of going to the postseason. So
bounce to the right side and on into right field. Reed Johnson continues a perfect night. Homer hit by pitch and a bouncing single.
We're going to get to the point where we won't have to play the games. We just have all the formulas of the expected performance of the players. And
yeah. Well, here's another stat from USA Today as Castro comes up. Over the last 5 years, of the 40 teams that made it to the postseason, 22 of them on May 21st were in a position to go to the postseason, and they actually did. More than half on May 21st who were in a position to go to postseason did. And that was under the previous playoff format. Now 2 more wild card teams. There's a line shot single to left. And now back-to-back 2-out singles bring up Soriano.
Of course, if you wanted to be a naysayer, and it's not my nature, I'm not a glass is half empty kind of guy, but you could say, well, almost half the teams didn't make it to the postseason that were in that position.
Right. It was a very hittable pitch. Castro getting his second hit of the night, 56th of the year. And Soriano bats. He grounded into a double play and he struck out. USA Today did an article on the 6 surprise contenders. They named the Dodgers, Mets, Orioles, Nationals, Blue Jays, and Indians. It's been a long time since some of those teams have been in the playoffs. In the air to right field. Travis Buck over near the line. Altuve sprinting out. Watch out.
Yeah. Repeat.
And Buck has it. No runs, 2 hits, 2 men left. 2-1 Astros in effect. And the card says, since last season, beginning in Single A, Jose Altuve is batting .339 with 251 hits. There's the breakdown. He hit .408 at Lancaster and then up to Corpus Christi. He hit .361 there, .276 with the Astros, and .313 with the Astros this year. He has struck out and walked tonight. Shoots that one foul for strike 1.
First couple of innings, Samaja really relying heavily on his fastball. He's come off of it some. He started Jose with a little cutter there. Cutter or slider. Moving away.
Broken bat. With Dave Clark. 0-2. Jose will go back for another. Detroit and Cleveland are tied 2-2. They're in the last of the 8th at Cleveland. Travis as Hafner has hit his 6th home run. Tigers are still under 500 at 20-22. The Indians, one of those surprise teams, at least to date, with 24 wins and 18 losses. They have not had a winning record since '07.
Yeah, they've actually been outscored by the opposition this year. Despite that, 6 games above 500. Their closer, Chris Perez, is yelling at the fans for not showing up.
Yeah. But then he got quite an ovation when he came in last night from the fans who did show up.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You're yelling at people that don't come, so it doesn't do much good.
They're not going to show up and boo you. Clever. Altuve breaks the bat again. Castro with the rifle arm just nips him. 1 out.
Castro retreating to make that play, and it almost cost him.
Sure did. The clock in his head was almost off by a few seconds.
He's looking up at the scoreboard. He wants to watch the replay. Retreating to catch the ball, and then took him a half a second or so to get the grip before making the throw, and his arm bailed him out.
Jed Lowry has popped to Castro and struck out. Lowry loops one. Castro back, and that's out number 2. Travis Buck with a fly ball to left and a ground out to short comes around for the 3rd time. Now the Nationals, who brought a half-game lead over Atlanta into play today, have not had a winning season since they moved from Montreal in '05. Blue Jays haven't been in the playoffs since the '93 season. The Orioles haven't had a winning year since '97. It's been a long time for some of these clubs that are playing well this year. Buck with strike 1.
Yeah, and it's really going to be fun to watch it play out and see who can sustain it. Baltimore going to be able to stay atop that American League East. Washington seems like they're built to last because of their pitching, but if they would sustain a couple of injuries to that pitching staff, they'd be in deep trouble. I guess you could say that about any club, but they're so pitching reliant.
1-1. By the way, Matt Kemp will not be eligible to return against the Astros from the disabled list this weekend. Bouncer to second. Barney on over to Baker, and it's a routine 5th inning for Samardzija. He keeps it close. 2-1 Astros through 5.
Miller Light punch top can for a smoother pour. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time. That concept is the same that the old church keys were used for back a long time ago. There's a physics lesson in there somewhere, but this is a lot easier because you use almost anything sharp. Guys?
2-1, the Astros lead it. We go to the 6th inning. Joe Mather leading it off. He's lined to left, and he's bunted into an out. There's ball 1. Wandy Rodriguez continues to go at least 5 innings in a long string of starts. Astros starters 37 straight games, going at least 5. It's the second longest stretch in the majors. 2-0 to Mather with Baker and Barney to follow. That's out toward right center field, and Bogusevic will stretch to get it. Try to throw him out at second. The throw is not there. A double for Mather. And he did look like Jason Worth on that one.
Yeah, it did. Maybe Corey Hart too. You know, long and strong and that can run a little bit. This guy in the minor leagues one year hit 31 home runs, so got some tools. And exhibits a little speed here and good hustle leading off the inning. Once you see those outfielders' numbers, you see them going backwards, you're thinking extra bases.
Mather gets into scoring position. That's hit number 8 for the Cubs. Baker, who's now 10 for 22 against Rodriguez, takes a strike. A single and a double tonight for Baker.
So there's no way you're asking him to do anything but to try to drive this run in. You don't want him sacrificing in any way his at bat, trying to guide the ball to the right side. Just go up there and hit.
In the air to right center, and Travis Buck in position for the throw. Now he gets in. Ooh, he misjudged it, but got in to make the catch. That deked the runner Mather into thinking that maybe it might drop, but he stayed close to second, and it's out number 1. Wow. That was a little scary for Travis.
Yeah, a little bit of a late break here. He initially thinks he has to retreat on the ball and then realizes he has to come in, and it's a tough read for Mather. He thinks maybe it's going to fall in. Maybe he's going to didn't know what the heck is going on.
It's an exciting out number 1, and now Barney, who struck out and bounced out to short. Inside ball 1. Cubs are 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position. They're hitting .233 in those situations this season as a team. Wandy is 5-6 in his career against Chicago with a 3.99 ERA.
This is his 20th start against the North Siders.
Made 3 last year, lost 2 of those. All the way. Last time he beat them was in Chicago in 2010.
Cubs this year just 1-7 in games against left-handed starters. We talked earlier about their anemic numbers against lefty. I mean, their numbers are anemic, period, but especially so against left-handed pitching.
Done better tonight with the 8 hits, but they've only scored 1 run.
Yeah, they've hit a lot of balls hard tonight.
2 balls, 1 strike.
Yeah, I'm with you, Wandy. I thought you had a strike there.
Talked about Wandy making all these starts against the Cubs, and you think about the fact this is the last season both these teams will be competing in the National League Central, so the rivalry certainly will change, and all the appearances, the patterns will change for these Houston pitchers moving to the AL West next year. Lowry comes in to take care of out number 2. Mather to third.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how individual matchups go and how players perform. The kind of the knee-jerk reaction is to think advantage pitchers, because the opposing hitters will not have seen their stuff and won't have, they'll have a scouting report, they'll have video, but they will not have actually faced the pitchers. But I just don't know if that's really going to bear out.
Question now: Hill, the number 8 hitter, coming up. Then the pitchers on deck. Hill is 0 for 2. He's grounded out twice.
I think it's maybe an instance where because Wandy's been around the block a little bit as a veteran, Brocail wants to go out and solicit his opinion. What do you want to do, as opposed to here's what we're going to do. And my hunch is they're going to try to get him out, and if they fall behind, they just won't give in and maybe put him on. You hate to. Well, let's think this through. We put him on. Samardzija hits. Samardzija handles the bat pretty good.
Yeah, he got to hit his first time up.
The question is, how long does Jamie Quirk want to keep Samardzija in this game?
Right.
I mean, they wouldn't hit for him here, but they might hit for him leading off the next inning.
Okay. Strike to Hill.
See, a lot of times you don't, you want to get the 8-hole hitter because you have the pitcher leading off the next inning, but there's a decent chance that the pitcher's not going to lead off the next inning anyway, that they pinch hit for him.
True. They have only left-handed pinch hitters on the bench. That doesn't mean necessarily a whole lot. Wandy's about as effective against right-handers as lefties. 0-2.
We got Hill up there who knows the pitcher's on deck, so he's swinging on anything to try to drive that run in.
Yeah. Well, Hill is 1 for 6 lifetime against Wandy.
So I guess at this point, you just take a couple more shots way out of the zone, either up, or way down. Breaking ball. Make sure you block it. Don't leave that in the zone.
Foul ball, yep.
Careful there. That's what happens sometimes as a pitcher. If you got a guy taking a bad hack at your breaking ball, you get in this mindset, and it's almost subconscious. You think, well, any old breaking ball will do. And you get a little lazy and float one up there, and the guy whacks one, and you're backing up the base, and you want to just take your spikes and dig them into your ankle. Being such a bozo.
Hill does not walk much. Usually swinging.
There you go.
And he got him on strikes. Very well done. After the conference, no runs, a hit, a runner stranded at third, 2-1 Astros.
Astros hat with the star and the H in the center, and it's sponsored by the Methodist Hospital System, and they've got a great program going right now to make folks aware of the Stride for Stroke program, stroke preparedness and awareness. A big backer of the Methodist Hospital System is our progressive fan of the game, Oscar De La Rosa, who has given, and you've given a significant sum of money, about $100,000 over the last 4 years to the Methodist Hospital System. Why Methodist?
Well, Methodist is the #1 healthcare system in Texas and one of the best healthcare systems in the United States. They're a leader in stroke research, which affects so many Americans that it's really something important to support.
And this particular, the Stride for Stroke program, where they have tips for stroke awareness in the back of the hat tonight. They've just done a lot of great things in the area of stroke care. That's very important to you.
Absolutely. Stroke affects so many people. I bet everybody at this game has a relative or at least a friend who's been hurt by stroke. And Methodist is one of the leaders in fixing that problem.
Well, we certainly appreciate your contribution to those efforts, and congratulations for being our progressive fan of the game with your wonderful family here by their side.
Jennifer.
Brownie, back to you.
Single to center field by Carlos Lee. Thanks, Bart. And Carlos is now 2 for 3. That starts it off in the Astros' 6th inning as they're up 2-1. Lee aboard for Brian Bogusevic. We had an exciting foul ball.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, Bart, but Milo almost got taken out by that foul ball.
Yeah.
Man, he's been busy this year. Been a lot of action up there.
They're shooting at him. And narrowly missing Milo Hamilton over in the Astros. That shook up everybody. Even Steve Grand over to check on it.
Wow.
We're going to have to post some bodyguards for Milo.
We need to get him some plexiglass window.
Yeah.
By the blue star there.
Bogusevic takes the ball. He is grounded out and struck out. That's 5 hits for the Astros. The Cubs have 8. And Samardzija has kept his pitch count under control. He's at 82, but he's due to lead off the next inning.
Just got confirmation. Milo, that ball hit Milo. Hit him in the arm.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Looks, he's laughing, though. He looks good.
2 balls and no strikes. Well, he'll take one for the team if the team wins. He did his part. Cole Hamels got his revenge on Washington. The Phillies won at 4-1. Hamels going to 7-1 with a 2.17 ERA. He beat Edwin Jackson. Bouncer first. Baker throws for the force play to Castro. Castro back to first, not in time. Now number 1 goes from 3 to 6. Bogusevic reaching.
A quick decision needed there for a first baseman. He might have been able to go to the bag and then still gotten Carlos before he got to second base. But he might not have either, so he probably made the right play by making sure he nailed that lead runner. Take one more look at it. I don't know if he goes to the bag, if he would have had time to make a throw.
Carlos Lowbridge by Castro.
I think he made the right play.
Chris Johnson singled and scored in the 4th inning. He's 1 for 2. Now Carlos with some cagey base running. Looked like he was trying to run into that throw. Bogey might be moving. He is 6 for 9 in steals. Runs tough to come by in this one. The Astros have been faring much better in close games. They're now 8-8 in 1-run games, winning last night 2-1 and leading by that same score tonight. Fouled away. 0-1 to Chris. Shane Victorino hit his 6th homer, and the Phillies win. Adam LaRoche, number 8, and the Nationals loss. Cleveland knocked off Detroit 4-2. Chris Perez getting his 15th save. CJ hits one to right center. Johnson comes over, and it's out number 2. Just as we promised earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite, showing you a triple with 2 outs in the 4th by J.D. Martinez.
Astros with a lot of big 2-out hits on this homestand. This is just a little blooper, but well placed right down the right field line. DeJesus was going to make a play on the ball. In all likelihood, he had it in his glove momentarily, but the collision by Barney knocks it loose. 2 runs come in, and all the way to third base for J.D.
J.D. with his first career triple. Gave the Astros the lead after hitting a fly ball to center his first time up. And the throw goes over. Well, you know, we were talking a while back about the process. And Rudy Jaramillo talked about that the other night. The process of the at-bat. People focus on the results, but JD is pretty pleased with the process of swinging at the right pitches and taking the pitches he shouldn't be swinging at. It's just that the results aren't what he would like. But now making those adjustments to his swing. He said he had that flatter bat type start to his swing last year. And he tried to tighten the swing over the winter coming into this season, but now he's sort of relapsing back to where he was last year, if he can get there. But, you know, it's difficult to do these things in the midst of a baseball season.
Well, to me, it looks like he's just been in between. I wouldn't agree with him that he's been swinging at the right pitches. Good right there.
In the right center field, another hit for JD. And here goes the first to third action of Bogusevic. Well, Martinez, with 2 hits and 3 at bats, advances the Astros' cause here in the 6th.
I think maybe in the last 3 or 4 games, the approach has been better, but for the longest time, he was just in between. He was really being fooled by breaking balls. He was getting beat by fastballs. This is a good sign, though. He got the blooper last time, but this is a good, solid hit, and he had a good, solid line drive that way last night.
First multi-hit game since April 25th for JD Martinez.
Have a little success. You can take a deep breath and relax, take that pressure off a little bit.
He was hitting 120 for the month of May when this game started. Now, the visit, pitching coach out to talk with Jeff Samardzija, Chris Fazio. And he's thrown 88 pitches.
This is a similar conversation that the Astros had last time. How do you want to go after the 8-hole hitter with the pitcher on deck? Nobody warming up in the Astros bullpen, so they feel confident that Wandy's going to stay in this game. Although that doesn't mean that they couldn't get somebody ready in a hurry. But you wouldn't want to pull Wandy right now, the way he's going along. Here we go with that first and third 2-out situation again. The .5 run expectancy. Although we got 2 home last time, so we're kind of even with the math. Third time this has happened.
Bogusevic at third on the single by Martinez. 6 hits for the Astros now. Those are the numbers for Samardzija. He was tagged for a couple of homers in his last start. He threw 113 pitches against the White Sox. Castro doubled inside the left field line and was walked intentionally. And there's strike 1. When he hit his homer Monday night, it was on a cutter inside. The count was 0-2, and he said he started to look in there because of an earlier fastball in. And he was trying to pick up that focal point a little bit further out in front of the plate than he normally does. Bounces to the left side, and there's the pickup by Mather to complete the 6th inning. It's no runs, 2 hits. Samardzija gets a big out to keep this game very close. 2-1 Astros through 6.
by Hyundai. New Hyundai owners are talking about their car in the booth. And by AT&T. Rethink possible. Action moves to the 7th. The Astros hanging on 2-1. Here's Bill and JD.
Thanks, Greg. We're talking about Tony Campana in the booth. Campana is going to be the pinch hitter for Jeff Samardzija. And Campana is tied for the major league lead in hitting comebackers. He's hit 14 balls back to the pitcher this year. Now, you'd have to think a fair number of those might be on bunts, right, JD?
That's what I'm guessing.
Okay.
But he hits the ball on the ground a ton, which he should do because he's one of the fastest guys in the league. Hits the ball on the ground 6 more times than he hits it in the air. I'm a little curious, though. I'm not sure I would use him in this situation if I were Jamie Quirk.
Why?
Well, because I want to use him in a situation where I've already got a base runner and then I can pinch run and make sure his speed is on the bases.
Okay.
If he doesn't reach here, you never have that opportunity to make that happen. Now, if he gets on, it's a win for the Cubs.
He's hitting .306 in 85 at bats. Has a .359 on base average. Wandy started, but time was called.
I think he stepped off or he stopped because Jason wasn't set behind home plate. Some pitchers really want a real quiet catcher back there. Jason was kind of flopping around a little bit.
Okay. There's strike one.
I pitched for the Padres briefly. Benito Santiago was catching. Benito was, a great arm, a good catcher. But every time he'd start to pitch, he would drop his glove. He'd set the target, and then you'd pick it up, and you'd get ready to throw, and he'd drop his mitt. It was so disconcerting.
Foul ball. Yeah, that's not a good target.
Cheetah waving him off. So don't give me a hard time, big
Carlos
fella.
Trying to reach in and snatch that ball before it went foul.
Like a catcher trying to steal a strike. Watch him try to pull it. He's trying to pull it fair.
Mm-hmm. See? Campana is 3 for 5 pinch hitting.
Timmy waving him off.
90 pitches for Samardzija. 58 were strikes. Showing bunt this time. He brings the count to 1-2. Campana's 4 for 11 against lefties. Tony started Monday night. He got a hit and a walk and stole 2 bases. Last night he came in to pinch run and he made a very exciting trip from first to third, diving over Matt Downs. This time a strikeout for Wandy.
Yeah, see, Campana's speed may be their best late game weapon.
Yep.
And that punch out right there, they're not going to get a chance to utilize it. Unless he stays in the game in a double switch and comes around again.
Samardzija in 6 innings allowed 6 hits, 2 runs. He walked 2, one of those intentional, and struck out 3. Now David DeJesus bats. He's 0 for 2 with a sac bunt. Wandy delivers. There's strike 1 to the Astros. From the Astros lefty, Wandy Rodriguez, who's given up 8 hits and 1 run. He's due to lead off the bottom of the inning. There is some bullpen action right now for both clubs. That one hit him. DeJesus hit by the pitch, and he's aboard with 1 out. For the hot Reed Johnson, who has homered, singled, and been hit by a pitch himself tonight.
Well, both times, we got Reed Johnson with a curveball on his back foot.
Wandy had not hit a batter all season, and he's hit 2 in this game.
I want to see his hand. I want verification that didn't hit the bat.
Yeah. DeJesus has not stolen a base. He has attempted 4. There's Johnson even with the bag at third. There's strike 1. Andy Pettitte and the Yankees beat Kansas City 8-3. A-Rod hit 2 homers, giving him 7 for the year. Curtis Granderson belted his 14th. Colorado and Alex White won at Miami 8-4, beating Carlos Zambrano. Troy Tulowitzki hit his 6th.
Reds just won in walk-off fashion in the bottom of the ninth. Todd Frazier with a game-winning home run. He's been on a little bit of a run here lately. That's his fourth. At least 3 of them coming in the last few days.
Aroldis Chapman got the win. He's 4-0 with an ERA of 0. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Let's see if DeJesus was hit by this pitch.
Looks like bat, doesn't it?
It did. Might have grazed his finger.
Been a good acting job.
Yeah.
A savvy veteran. He's been around a while.
Right.
Remember Jeter did that? Was it last year?
I think
People were up in arms about it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Accusing him of cheating. It's just good baseball.
Yeah.
It takes to get on. And it looks like Cubs got a break.
The throw over, and they're really paying attention to DeJesus at first base there.
That might be the kind of play, if they were to increase instant replay, that would be worth implementing, including that the hit batsman. If there's any question, you could challenge that one. I would like that idea. DeJesus has not been a very good base stealer this year. He's 0 for 4.
Yep. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Let's check his career numbers. 53%. It's not good.
It's horrible.
Yep. Not very good. So kind of an odd choice as a leadoff man in some respects. 356 on base average, certainly respectable. But he's the Cubs' choice to do that.
Yeah, well, with the lefty on the mound and Campana on the bench, they don't have many options. Jamie Cork favoring the on-base abilities of DeJesus at the top of the order. Or I should say Dale Swaim. Swaim made out the lineup. He had the lineup set before he left town.
Dave McKay, longtime Cardinal coach, joining the Cubs. Their first base coach this year and outfield coach. 96 pitches for Wandy Rodriguez. Threw 95 in his last game in 6 innings. Runner going, and it's foul back on 3-2. Texas Rangers lost at Seattle today 5-3. As former Ranger Kevin Millwood beat them. He's 3-4. He beat Scott Feldman, who's 0-2. Brandon Lee got his 9th save.
Talking about Aroldis Chapman there earlier. He has faced 88 men this year and struck out 41 of them. That's the big kid in Little League kind of stuff.
It is.
You're not supposed to do that to big league hitters.
Go to first this time.
You're treating him like he's Bobby Dernier down there.
The Angels got 2 in the 11th, and they beat Oakland on the road 3-1. Angels starting to work their way back up toward 500. They're 20-25. Runner going, line drive to right field. Travis Buck there, and he'll make the throw back to first. Not in time. Backed up by Castro. 2 outs. Fans like that baseball.
Well, that's a play the Astros worked on extensively in spring training. The intentional errant throw over the first baseman to the catcher backing up in hopes that an overly aggressive base runner takes off for second. You don't get the chance to use it that often in a major league season.
No.
The call came in for the errant throw back to the catcher play, and boy, executed perfectly, except for DeJesus didn't run.
Threw it right to him.
Yeah. If it was Tony Campana, he would have gone and we would have had him. Yes, I'm kidding. Just in case. Although I did play in a fast pitch softball team that had a play like that. They throw the errant pickoff throw from the catcher to the second baseman who would be backing up first. It worked. Sure did.
Wow. Castro, the batter, he's 2 for 3. How about that fake pickoff throw in the College World Series years ago?
Wichita State and the University of Miami back in the early 80s, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Miami pulled it off. Or was it Wichita State? I don't remember which team actually did it.
Seems like Wichita State, but I could be wrong on that.
Pitcher stepped off the mound, faked a throw to first. First baseman went running down the line like he'd gotten by him. All the guys in the bullpen picked their legs up like the ball was under them. The base runner took off for second, and the pitcher calmly stepped and flipped the ball to the shortstop who applied the tag. Just complete bush league. Horrible, horrible baseball. Coach should have been banned for life.
It worked.
But a great play.
100 pitch mark for Wandy. Can you imagine if you're the base runner being greeted by that baseball before you get tagged? Oh, the horror of it.
Not to mention the first base coach. Well, he must have gotten paid off.
1-2 to Castro. Tampa Bay beat Toronto in 11-5-4. Encarnacion number 14, Bautista number 12. Way upstairs, throw to first. Driving back in to Jesus. It's 2-2.
I guess that would be baseball's version of the fumble rooski.
Yeah. You see the story on Byron Buxton playing football?
Yeah, I did. I read one story on him.
Well, he wound up scoring a touchdown, and it wasn't the play the coach sent in, but he just told the quarterback, pitch the ball to me.
Yeah. Give it to me and I'll take care of it. Same story said he threw the ball 82 yards in the air. And he has a 99-mile-an-hour fastball, but he doesn't really want to pitch. He just does it because the team needs a pitcher.
It's 3-2. Yeah, he threw a football 82 yards in the air. Isn't that something? Was a defensive back.
It was Miami that pulled that play off.
Okay, you're right.
The grand illusion picked off a Wichita State runner.
3-2, 2 outs. De Jesus takes off on the next one. Soriano's on deck.
This half inning taking a long time. There's virtually nothing happening.
Out toward right center field. Buck's got a run, and he's there for the catch. It's no runs, no hits, and a man stranded. 7th inning stretch time finds the fans enjoying a 2-1 ball game. Astros.
At-Bat 12 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry, and Windows Mobile. Get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text at-bat 31826 or visit astros.com. That's, of course, something we'll tell you about later. This is the 1970s rainbow jersey. Return to the playing field. The Astros take on the Reds for Flashback Friday, June 1st. J.R. Richard throws out the first pitch. Fans can enjoy Friday night fireworks presented by Marathon Oil. Root now, buy tickets for Flashback Fridays at astros.com, and also follow the action on At-Bat 12. They gave you a little extra peek at that. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Greg. Well, Wandy Rodriguez will be coming out of this game for a pinch hitter, Marwin Gonzalez, and the relief pitcher, James Russell, comes in. Wandy now has gone 5 innings or more in 39 consecutive starts. That's the third longest active streak in the majors. And you see Russell's numbers, they're very good. 1-0 with a 1.89 ERA.
In 19 innings, he struck out 50, walked 10, but it so far really hasn't hurt him with that 1.89 ERA. League bats .240 against him. He looked an inning and 2/3 here last night. High fives, fist bumps all the way around for Wandy. Another sterling performance by the southpaw.
Gonzalez takes strike one.
Astros will turn it over to the pen. Wandy, he picks up the win. We'll move to 4-4.
Brandon Lyons warming up. Gonzalez 218, 1 homer, 2 runs batted in. Switch hitter, 3 for 12 pinch hitting, including a homer. That came batting left-handed in Philadelphia. As a right-handed batter, he's 5 for 17 for a 294 average. Off the end of the bat, it goes to Barney. And we go back to Greg.
Remember that preview I told you about the At-Bat 12? Well, you can get the Astros on MLB.com there for your iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry. Again, you can text At-Bat 31826 or visit astros.com for details. MLB.tv, guys.
Jose Altuve's the batter. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. 2-1 game. And the Cubs will have their 4, 5, 6 hitters due up in the 8th. Mathers in tight at third. Altuve has struck out, walked, and bounced out to short.
Interesting that they would bring Russell, their only lefty, into this game in this situation. I think that speaks to the lack of confidence that they have in a number of those right-handed arms down there in that Cub bullpen right now.
We've been told that their closer, Rafael Dolis, will pitch tonight, no matter what the score. Fly ball to right. He needs some work. That's out number 2. Jed Lowry, the batter, at our Brown Hand Center. Great hands of the game provided by Lowry. Trying to extend his hitting streak to 8, but let's take a look at him in the field.
Starlin Castro with a bid for a base hit through the hole, but Lowry cuts it off and makes the play on Samardzija there at third. Really had no other option.
Jed is 0 for 3 with 2 pops to short and a strikeout. And that play came back in the third, and it kept the Cubs off the board in that inning. There's strike 1 to Lowry. Wandy in 7 innings allowed the Cubs 8 hits, 1 run with no walks. He struck out 5, hit a couple of batters. Foul back, and it's no balls, 2 strikes. The Astros swept a 3-game series here from the New York Mets earlier this season, trying to make this their second 3-game series sweep, and they also swept a 2-game set, so it would be their 3rd sweep overall if they get this one tonight.
Mr. Sweepy getting a workout this year.
He really is. 1-2. He was in mothballs last year. Russell worked 1 2/3 innings last night. Gave up 1 hit, no runs. 2-2. James was born in Cincinnati. His dad, Jeff, pitched for that club for a while, as well as 4 other major league teams. James went to the University of Texas and Navarro Junior College in this state. Right-handed hitters last year hit .312 against him. Fly ball right field line for DeJesus. And in the 7th inning, Russell gets the side in order, moving this 2-1 ball game to the 8th. stepping in from the Astros bullpen. And he comes in with a 2-1 lead in the 8th inning. Brand new video just shot earlier today in relief of Wandy Rodriguez, who pitched superbly. He comes in with an 0-1 record and a 1.76 ERA.
Having an outstanding year, scoreless over his last 8 appearances, just 1 run allowed over his last 12. It all adds up to a 1.76 ERA. He's walked just a couple with those 14 punch-outs. Came in Saturday against the Rangers with a couple of men on base. Left them stranded. Astros bullpen really a strength of this club so far this year.
A bullpen with an ERA of 2.93, third best in the National League. 1.19 whip, second lowest in the league. And just as in that game JD talked about Saturday, he comes in with a 1-run lead in the 8th inning. Soriano, the batter. He's bounced into a double play, struck out, and hit a fly ball to right with 2 men on. Tough night for Soriano. He has stranded a total of 4 runners in this game. Fouled away, and it's 1-1.
Brandon leaning heavily on that cut fastball these days, runs it away from the right-handed hitters. Just a little late movement. Also has a good curveball.
He's given up just 1 earned run in his last 13 innings. Gets a swing and a miss there for a 1-2 count.
And he throws a runner, a little tailing fastball in under the hands of Soriano.
On the last homestand, he pitched in 3 games in a row for the first time this year. He's had plenty of rest since Saturday for this one tonight. Hit to right field, and that loops, and here is Buck sliding. Travis Buck has had a lot of ground to cover tonight on the chances he's had in right field.
Well, that's 3 in a row.
Sure is.
And 6 chances for him since the 5th inning.
Astros a down and outfielder. Jordan Schaefer had part of a toenail removed today. Buck getting the call in right field. Joe Mather, the batter, he doubled to right center. He's 1 for 3. Strike 1 for Lyon.
Yeah, Mathers looked good at the plate tonight. That double, and then his first time up, he had a line drive to left field.
Breaking pitch makes it 0-2. Lyon has not allowed a run in his last 9 appearances here at Minute Maid Park. He gave up 1 run in his first outing of the year against Colorado, and none since then. Baker's on deck. That's hit to left field on a line and in for a hit in front of J.D. Martinez. Mathers aboard with his second knock of the evening. The starting pitchers for Friday night are presented by Chevron. It'll be Lucas Harrell for the Astros, and last year's Cy Young Award winner Clayton Kershaw with a 4-1 record, a 1.90 ERA for the Dodgers. Lucas's ERA 4.09, and that's the start of the road trip. Tomorrow's an off day for travel to LA. Baker has a single and a double in 3 trips. Off the end of the bat up the right field line, it's foul. Strike 1 to Baker.
Quartet of left-handed pinch hitters available for Jamie Quirk, deciding on how he wants to play it here as he gets down towards the bottom of his batting order.
Brad Myers saved the 2-1 win last night. Got his 11th save in the process. Had a quick 1-2-3 inning with a couple of punch outs. This 8th inning combination, when Lyon gets the 8th and Myers gets the 9th, featuring 2 veteran pitchers who have excellent command of the breaking stuff. And they bring a starting pitcher's repertoire to a 1-inning performance. Brad Mills was asked tonight about Myers making the adjustment to relief. He said, well, he's done it before, but he really has a plan on these hitters. And I think as he talked, I thought more about a starting pitcher's plan. He didn't say it that way, JD, but Lyon is pretty much the same way.
Yeah, they pitch. They don't just try to beat you with their stuff like some late inning relievers do. They don't have that 97-mile-an-hour fastball, a nasty movement on their fastball, so they have to pitch. Command the breaking ball, move the ball in and out, change speeds, do all those things that good starting pitchers do. You thought? Reconsidered?
Castro came up with it. And for the Cubs, it's a good thing Mather reconsidered. Ward Cleaver would not have been happy with that decision had he moved to second.
Well, Beeve would have been up in the bedroom soaking. Beeve, how many times have I told you not to be reckless on the bases late in the game when we're down a run?
Bounce foul.
Our reference is to a television show from the 60s called Leave It to Beaver. For those of you not of a certain age. The star of the show was Jerry Mathers, and so we get carried away whenever we face Joe Mather. Can't help ourselves. Just be happy there are no Borgnines in the league. He's leaning. He's not going to.
He was.
Got Jason's attention.
Struck him out. 2 outs. Strikeout number 6 for Astros pitchers tonight.
Well, that's the one thing that tells you that Brandon Lyon's stuff is back better than ever. His strikeout rate was almost 1 per inning.
Now with 2 outs, it's Darwin Barney. Barney's 0 for 3. Now Lyon has pitched 16 innings now, and he struck out 15.
Coming into this appearance, 8.22 strikeouts per 9 this year. His career mark 5.88. So getting them to swing and miss like never before.
Wandy Rodriguez threw 105 pitches, 65 were strikes. Troy Hill's on deck. Runner going. Foul. 1-1.
And Mather had a good break there. Brandon is not particularly quick to home plate. Probably would have had that bag. And Barney with a very late swing. Would have been better off just taking that pitch.
Yeah, he took that ball right out of the catcher's mitt with that swing. Paul Konerko hit his 9th homer. Alex Rios number 2 for the White Sox. They lead Minnesota in the late going 6-0 in the bottom of the 8th. Two balls and a strike to Barney. Orlando Hudson has joined the White Sox. He's in the lineup tonight. Chris Sale started that game for Chicago. Gave up 2 hits in 7 innings.
Lyon against right-handed hitters typically does most of his work away. Every now and then he'll shoot one inside just to keep him honest. You see with Barney, it's been everything away so far. And command that outside corner with the cut fastball and the curveball.
It's 2-2. Throws it past Barney.
This time just reaches back and lets it fly. Doesn't hit his spot. Barney pulling off.
Arizona's leading the Dodgers and unbeaten Ted Lilly 4-0 bottom of the 2nd. Runner going on 2-2. Ball 3, no play on him. He steals it easily, and the count is full now on Barney. Second steal for Mather. Now the Cubs get Mather into scoring position, and the big 3-2 is coming from Lyon.
Well, they have him set up to come hard in on him, but he's shown a pretty quick bat, an inside fastball already in this game.
Mather's got a big lead off second. Lyon looking at him, and he gets a strikeout. Barney down on strikes to end the Cubs' 8th inning. No runs, a hit. A man stranded in scoring position. The Cubs have left 9. The Astros lead at 2-1. With the 2-run triple. He hit it in the air near the right field line. A collision there. Darwin Barney slanting over for it, and De Jesus had it in his glove, but Barney knocked it out. Well, Martinez legged it out for his first major league triple. It drove in 2, and that made it 2-1 Houston. It has stayed 2-1 Houston. And now here is Brian LaHare taking over in a double switch at first base. He'll be batting 9th for the Cubs. Jeff Baker coming out of the game. And the Cubs closer, Rafael Dolis, 2-3 with a 3.75 ERA. Comes into this ball game to get some work with 4 saves and 6 tries.
Yeah, you see the control's been a little issue for him. He's walked 11, struck out 9. He throws hard. He throws a hard power sinker. Complement it with an occasional slider, but it's pretty much a power game. Fastball 94, 95 miles an hour.
First time he has faced the Astros in his career. He was in only 1 game at the major league level last year for the Cubs. Pitched 51 times at AA Tennessee, 8-5 with a 3.22 ERA. Dolis 24 years old, facing Travis Buck. Buck's 0 for 3. Red Myers will be getting loose for the 9th inning with a 1-run lead for Houston. Carlos Lee's on deck. Bogusevic due up 3rd in the inning. Dolis was born in the Dominican Republic. The Cubs signed him as a free agent in 04. He had Tommy John surgery and missed the 08 season. Line drive left field. Soriano with the grab. He doesn't jump when he catches the ball anymore. Keeps his feet on the ground. He had that habit of jumping in the air when he caught the ball.
Yeah, the ball would be chest high and he'd be jumping as he caught it.
That's a thing of the past now for Soriano. Carlos Lee has a pair of singles tonight, has scored a run. He's 2 for 3. Cubs have out hit the Astros 9-6. In the Chicago 9th, the catcher Hill is due to lead it off, followed by LaHare and De Jesus.
This is an interesting looking guy. Anybody just kind of steps and fires it.
Yeah. Keeps it simple, doesn't he?
Sure does. A little bit like Natali Feliz.
2-0.
So he's kind of the opposite. We were talking about Lyon and Meyer and how they get it done, not blowing you away with a 96-mile-an-hour heater, but the ability to pitch. He's just the opposite. He's all about his stuff.
2-1.
So if he can add the command, then he'll really be something.
Yeah.
He's got that plus arm. That's why clubs like to load up on these kinds of guys and just hope that they figure it out at some point. The Astros have added some big arms to their system in the last couple of seasons. We saw a little bit of it last year when the Abreu kid was up. Who was the other real hard thrower we had for time last year?
Don't remember. 3 balls and a strike. Feliz is allowing only a .210 batting average. 1 game behind Sean Kemp before tonight for the team lead. There's a smash into left center field. Carlos hustling out at first and taking a big turn there, and he will be held to a single. His 3rd straight hit.
He's elevating the ball a little bit, and 2 good swings here by the Astros. These belt-high sinkers generally don't work.
Bogusevic comes up. Bogey's 0 for 3. With Brett Myers warming up, looking at the Cubs and their hitters scheduled up in the 9th. Coy Hill is 1 for 16 lifetime against Myers. Out of play, strike 1. So he would not be hitting. He would be leaving for a pinch hitter. Then Laher and DeJesus. Myers getting loose. Laher 1 for 3 against him. DeJesus 0 for 3. Chris Johnson is on deck.
Jose Valdez. That was the other hard thrower I was trying to remember from last year.
Okay. Now back and it's 0-2. Dolis has not pitched in 3 days. That's why Cubs wanted him in this game. Gave up 1 run in 1 inning in his last outing. Bogusevic just hits massive shots during batting practice. And he launches balls. Strike 3. That's out number 2.
Unfortunately for Brian, he hasn't been able to translate that power into the games yet. A backdoor breaking ball here from Dolis. Borderline, could have gone either way. Conchita rings him up.
Strikeout number 5 for Cubs pitching. Samardzija struck out 4. Chris Johnson singled ahead of the 2-run triple by J.D. Martinez in the 4th. Chris is 1 for 3. J.D. on deck right now. That one makes him move his feet. Ball 1. We had a game like this a few days ago, J.D. Much of the scoring came earlier in the mid innings, and then it just stayed close the rest of the way. It's been 2-1 ever since the 4th. Strike makes it 1-1 to CJ.
A fair number of base runners in this game for just 3 total runs. Astros winning last night 2-1. J.D. Martinez proving to deliver the game winner last night, and could be the case again here tonight.
2 balls and a strike to Chris. Back on May 11th on the road, the Astros beat the Pirates 1-0. They scored 1 run in the 2nd. That was it. That wasn't the one I was thinking of. Ground ball foul makes it 2-2. Cubs 0 for 9. Astros 1 for 5 with men in scoring position. Daniel Bard won for Boston 6-5 at Baltimore, beating Jake Arrieta. Alfredo Aceves got his 11th save. Nick Johnson hit a pair of homers for the Orioles, giving him 4. Johnson checked his swing. It's 3-2 now.
Cardinals have a 5-3 lead over San Diego. Carlos Beltran went deep again. He now has 14. Off of Jeff Suppan. That's in support of Lance Lynn, looking to become a 7-game winner.
Cincinnati won. St. Louis needs to win to stay a half game in front of the Reds. Runner going, and it's foul back on the 3-2 pitch.
Padres got a home run from Will Venable. Venerable Will Venable is 3 for 4 tonight.
We won't see them for a while, will we?
I don't know when we see the Fighting Friars.
Might be July. July 16th through 19th, right after the All-Star break. Runner going, and there's a smash through the left side. A single to left for Johnson, but Lee can make it to third. Ball sharply hit to Soriano. So 2 men on, 2 outs for Martinez now. Padres will be here before we go there. They'll be here in late June.
All right, chance for a little insurance. JD showing some signs of coming out of his funk with 2 hits tonight. 1 blooper, 1 legit.
This could be really big if he comes up with a third one and scores Carlos from second in a 2-1 game. 9 hits for the Cubs, 8 for the Astros. And it's ball 1. Shot into right center field. Lee's going to score on this to make it 3-1. Here's the throw to the infield. Not in time. RBI single. J.D. Martinez. He's driven in all 3 for Houston.
That's what I'm talking about right there. Boy, that was a good, solid line drive single. Not caught in between here. Front foot gets down, the hands stay back, and then he takes a good aggressive swing, drops the head through the zone. A big 2-out knock. Been a bunch of them on this homestand.
So JD now with 25 runs batted in, leads the club. Second 3-hit game of the season for Martinez. It's 3-1, and Jason Castro has runners at first and second. He has a double, an intentional walk, and a ground out. Brett Myers just got more working room. Way outside, ball 1. Astros got 2 hits in the 6th, but couldn't cash, and now that big 2-out delivery comes from Martinez on their 3rd hit of the 8th inning.
Bogusevic strikeout, but other than that, everything's been hit hard in this inning. Buck lined out. 3 good solid singles from Lee Johnson and J.D. Martinez.
Strike evens the count of 1-1. Astros trying to make it 12 wins in their last 17 home games. The next homestand should bring some interesting baseball to Minute Maid Park. Cincinnati and St. Louis coming in starting Friday, June 1st, with the Reds in town. That'll be a big night with J.R. Richard here on a Friday night. Throwing out the first pitch. Retro uniforms, flashback Friday. 7:05 start on June 1st.
At least really has no idea where it's going.
see why the Cubs want him to get some work rather than bring him in a save situation and have this happen. Matt Downs is on deck.
Well, they're used to seeing this because this is what has been going on with Marmol the last couple of years.
That's true. Castro takes a walk and the bases are loaded. Castro's on for the third time. And it'll be the pinch hitter Matt Downs batting for Brandon Lyon. Lyon in one inning allowed one hit, no runs, had no walks, struck out 2. Now Chris Basios making a walk to the hill. If the Astros win this one, they'll be only 2 games under 500, 21 and 23. A chance for Downs to get an at bat here with the bases loaded after coming into the game last night when Chris Johnson was tossed out. Downs went 0 for 1. And Matt trying to recapture that feel of being an outstanding pinch hitter last year. Begins at 167, 3 homers, 5 runs batted in for this at bat, and he is 0 for 12 pinch hitting. Altuve's on deck. Strike 1 to Downs. Astros pinch hitters have 19 hits and 68 at bats, including 2 homers, and they've driven in 8. The bench has really performed well this season. When rattles around, gets behind Hill. Whoa! Chris Johnson started to come and then he jammed on the brakes. That's the biggest problem, is finding where the baseball is.
Yeah, and just you have no idea how quickly the catcher's going to find it, because you could see initially the catcher had no idea where the ball was, but then as soon as he picked it up, CJ scrambled back.
Yeah, there's a split second of opportunity there. One and 1 to Downs. He takes ball 2. Matt was involved in that crazy play last night. He was playing third when Campana went from first to third on the throwing error that got by Carlos Lee, and he had the ball, but Campana took a big dive up and over him safely into third base. Inside on him, and it's 3-1 to Downs.
Get the sense that Dolis, even though he throws 96 miles an hour, has more confidence in his breaking ball than his fastball. He will throw the breaking ball over, but he just doesn't trust his heater.
Downs hit 349 last year pinch hitting. 3-1 the count with the bases loaded, 2 outs. The Astros up by 2. And he takes a bases loaded walk, forcing in the run to make it 4-1 Houston. RBI number 6 for Matt Downs, with Johnson scoring. Martinez to third, Castro to second, and now it turns over and goes to the leadoff man, Jose Altuve.
Myers continues to warm up out there. One more run scores and will not be a save opportunity.
Altuve's 0 for 3 with a walk.
They've got him hot and ready, so they'll probably bring him in regardless of what happens here. Off day tomorrow, so you know he's going to get tomorrow's day off.
Breaking pitch, strike 1. Michael Bolton's warming up for the Cubs.
Michael Bolton.
What happened to him? Michael Bolton, there he is. He was big for a long time, wasn't he?
He's a really good golfer.
about Donald Driver winning Dancing with the Stars? Did you see that?
I saw a thing in the paper.
Yeah, he won it.
Oh, he did.
1 ball, 1 strike. Brought the trophy back to Houston. I don't know if he lives in Houston. Maybe he'll bring it back for everyone to see here at the ballpark. So that's some kind of competition. You ever watch that?
The Dancing with the Stars?
Yeah.
I've seen parts of maybe 1 or 2.
I have, 24 hours sometimes to make up a routine. Altuve looks at strike 2. 1-2.
Maybe we should get some ex-Astros on there. Maybe we should get Bish on Dancing with the Stars.
He could do it. Kevin Bass.
How about Glenn Davis?
Can't see Glenn doing that. That one hit him and forces in run number 5. Altuve, hit by the pitch, gets the RBI the painful way, his 15th of the year.
It'll be time for Michael Bolton.
It might be. That'll be Jamie Quirk out to make a move to the bullpen and get Dolis out of this game. Oh, got him right around the solar plexus, didn't it?
I think got the arm. Maybe got a little of both. 32 pitches for Dolis, though, but more balls than strikes, and he hardly ever threw his fastball in the strike zone.
He faced 8 batters, and it's 5-1 Houston. Back in a moment.
At NASCAR on Fox. It'll be in Charlotte as defending champion Kevin Harvick and points leader Greg Biffle lead stock cars best drivers in a chase for the checkered flag. Fox Sports is proud to bring you exclusive coverage of Sprint Cup Series racing with the Coca-Cola 600 live from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. That's Sunday in prime time, 4:30 p.m. Central.
Michael Bowden is pitcher number 4 for the Cubs tonight. He has an ERA of 6.48 for 8 games with them, striking out 8, walking 4.
Yeah, worked a couple of times in relief for the Red Sox prior to being acquired in that deal from Marlon Byrd. That was back on April 21st. Came up with Boston first in 2008. Not had much time in the big leagues, 46 big league appearances.
Jose Altuve is being examined by assistant athletic trainer Rex Jones. Brad Mills came over, and he's going to stay in this game. Looked like the left forearm or elbow area where he got hit by the pitch. And he's staying in.
Tougher than Billy Jack. You can't get him out of there.
Jed Lowry's the batter with the bases loaded and 2 outs. 5-1 Houston. Lowry's 0 for 4. His 7-game hitting streak on the line. Both these guys, former Boston Red Sox performers. Bowden traded for Marlon Byrd April 21st this year from the Red Sox. And there's ball one to Lowry, the 9th Astro to bat here in the 8th inning. Bowden pitched twice for the Red Sox, 8 times for the Cubs since that trade. Marlon Byrd and Cash going to Boston for this right-hander. Supplemental pick in 05 by the Red Sox, the 47th player drafted. In the air to right center field. De Jesus back for the catch. And the Astros bat around in the 8th inning. They come up with insurance runs for Brett Myers. 3 runs scoring on 3 hits, 3 men left. 5-1 Houston.
The Progressive Insurance Group. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. We go to the 9th. It's not a save situation because the Astros got some extra runs, but Brett Myers, the king of the regulators, in his snakeskin boots, is all ready to go. Well, he won't be wearing the snakeskin boots, but he's ready. And Brownie and JD are ready to call it.
Yeah, the guys in the bullpen got together in the studio adjacent to the clubhouse today. Had some fun with that. Myers has been having a lot of fun with his pitching. He's 11 for 12 in saves. He's 0-1 with a 1.80 ERA.
He's got Hill, LaHare, De Jesus due up for the Cubs here. Their last chance in the top of the 9th.
Hill takes the first pitch from Myers. It's ball 1.
Myers came in last night, picked up that 11th save in 1-2-3 fashion. He went strikeout, and a ground ball to first.
Justin Maxwell in the game in left field for J.D. Martinez. It's 2-0. LaHare is on deck. De Jesus due up 3rd in the inning as the Astros lead at 5-1. Cubs trying to avoid losing a 9th consecutive game. Strike, and it's 2-1. 18,732. Enjoying what the Astros have done tonight. They got 2 in the 4th after the Cubs got a first inning homer from Reed Johnson. That fly ball heads for left center. Bogusevic tracking it down, and right there, whoa, ran into that barrier right near the bullpen for the visitors for out number 1.
Yeah, ball carried well. Nice play by Bogey out there.
Into that padded post. Good concentration as he got the ball in his glove for out number 1. And Brian LaHare with terrific numbers is 3rd in the league in slugging percentage at .617. They strike 1 to LaHare. has the 5th best on base average in the National League, and his batting average is .313 with 10 homers, 21 runs batted in. He leads all first basemen in home runs in the National League. No balls, 2 strikes to LaHare. He really has carried the brunt of the offense at times for the Cubs this season.
He's hit a third of their home runs.
Boy. Carlos Lee tossing to Brett Myers. 2 outs. Brandon Lyon in 1 inning, allowed 1 hit, no runs, had a couple of strikeouts. After the airtight night last night for the Regulators. 3 innings of 1 hit shutout ball with no walks and 7 strikeouts. David DeJesus is the batter. He's 0 for 3, hit by a pitch. 1 more out for the Astros to put the lid on a 6-2 homestand. And they would have 12 wins in their last 17 home games. DeJesus looking at ball 1. It's a 2-0 count. St. Louis is up 6-3 in the bottom of the 8th on San Diego. 2-1. Padres have never had a player hit for the cycle, but Will Venable is a triple away from doing that tonight. Reds won their game 2-1 with a run in the 9th to beat Atlanta. Liner up the middle into center field. So the Astros, it would appear, would stay 4 games out if St. Louis takes care of business. DeJesus aboard, and it's Reed Johnson coming up. Johnson with a homer, then was hit by a pitch and singled.
With that base hit, the Cubs have now had a base runner on every inning of this ball game. The only run, that solo home run way back in the 1st by this man right here.
They have stranded 9, as have the Astros. Cubs about hit Houston 10-9 now. Strike to Johnson. These 2 teams will meet again in Chicago the end of June. Cubs don't come back here till September 10th through the 12th. 0-2. And now perhaps 1 pitch away from a 3-game series sweep, which would be the Astros' 2nd of the year. A win tonight would make them 10-7 within the NL Central Division. And there it is as Myers wraps up an Astros sweep of a 3-game series from the Chicago Cubs. A 6-2 homestand. The Astros are just 2 games under 500. J.D. Martinez, a central figure in this one. Final score, Astros 5, Cubs 1.